We are live.
We are live.
I
And
forgot how to
as
do that.
always, we start the professional way we always meant to go on. After a very long break, we are back. We're back.
We're here. Hit the button.
Welcome to MZ TV. MZ TV.
Yes, in between that photograph and this one now, I have, of course, discovered that I've gone grey enough to be able to dye my hair a very, very white, sort of white colour. It's gone a little bit yellow now, but when I first did it, I looked like Philip Schofield. It was that.
Oh.
Once upon a time, that'd have been fine. But
I'm
now,
lucky I haven't gone grey
Anyway.
yet.
Yeah, no, of course not.
No.
You do that. You dye that, don't you?
I do it on purpose. Yeah, this is for dinner.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been away for a long while. Mik and Zec had a bit of a rough one for quite a while, and we fell off the radar.
Yeah, we did. It was. It's been an interesting little while, really, hasn't it? It's sort of. Oh, I just realised I've turned my volume. There we go. That's better. How's that for volume? Sorry, I couldn't hear you, and now I can. So, but anyway, so it's been. You've had it harder than me, I think. Because you were feeling very grim, weren't you, when we...
I had it grim in two ways. I had it grim in that my physical health... look at that, I'm so washed out. It's how I felt last year, blimey. Basically the old fatigue hit me really, really hard last year. And I wasn't getting out for a couple of months at a time. And so the old mental health then decides to come in and give you a kick, doesn't it? Yeah. And so I hadn't been getting out of the house. And then... we discovered I'd been cutting down my wife discovered I'd been cutting down my meds because I thought it might help me. And now I'm back on my meds. Guess what?
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? It's funny because I also, and obviously I was a bit unwell and, painy, ouchy. I'd had my surgery. I don't know if I had my nerve block, but kind of it was always, I can't remember how long it was because I went out last night. And I've been initiated into the joys of pink gin. So I am recovering, and I'm still in recovery, shall we say, from a very heavy night of massive amounts of pink gin. Anyway, but luckily, this year, I started the year in a very jolly way by finally getting some medication that worked. So I am constantly now on a very strange cocktail of things, but actually seems to help. Hooray!
Yay!
And also, I had a very strange phone call. Finally, after a year, I got my appointment with the neuralgic pain clinic. I didn't even know it was such a thing. I've only had a spinal cord injury for 43 years. But apparently there is a neuralgic pain clinic that deals with pain from spinal cord injury. No one told me. And they said, oh, well, there's a thing called a RAX injection where they inject, it's like a nerve block, but they do loads all down your back. And then that should stop it. Because apparently all the scar tissue on the outside has grown into my spine, which is probably why everything hurts. Anyway, so they're going to do that. And if that don't work, they're going to give me a spinal cord stimulator.
Well, I was offered one 10 years ago. And just before the test, where they do the test one and put it in, I bottled it. I got scared, I admit. My last surgery hadn't gone well. But I was sat next to someone the other week who has got one. And I'm like, what are you doing? He says, I'm turning up. And he says it's great. He's cut his pain by about half.
So... because I when they first came out, I looked into them and they kind of were saying, oh, it's for people with a spinal cord injury, not for a complex spinal cord injury. So I thought, oh, it's not for me. And he went, no, it was designed exactly for someone like you with the back as messy as yours. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So who knows? So I'm now awaiting for various things to happen, but I'm all right at the minute. And as I said, I have discovered that alcohol, especially pink gin, and my medication makes it a fun night, and I am still pain-free. And the last drink I had was about 10:30 last night. So
that is brilliant. We've got some messages.
Yay!
Everyone's here. Hello. And Kate is here.
Yay!
Avril got ugly. I awoke early after attending Johnny Moped's 50th anniversary tour at Braithwaite Hall.
Yes, I was. I was at the Electronic Cafe event last night with Wolfgang Fleur doing a DJ set and Tiny Magnetic Pets, a band. Because now, of course, I also write for Blitz magazine.
You do, yes.
Which means I get to go and do lots of fun, groovy things. And but it was really weird last night at this thing because everyone there was had seen my gigs when in the 80s and 90s. So it's like a reunion of, I remember you when you were young.
Can't beat a bit of 80s. So I've been going out with the old attachment. I've got my 80s playlist, put my headphones in, and I'm off with a rare.
Yeah, because that's the other thing you've got. I think you've got that now, haven't you? Because I've got one and you've got one. But next time I come down to Southend, we'll go out, all right, and we'll go full like Hell's Angels, right? Big leather jackets. Whenever I go out on mine, I just find myself at the top of my voice singing, "Get the motor running, get out."
Well, I realised I was singing along and didn't know the other day until I thought, why are people looking at me? And I was singing Love Shack by the Big 52.
Sign says, stay away from
We fools, because love rules. The Love Shack. Anyway,
we've got a guest. We've even been professional and got a guest. It's not going to be just two old duffers comparing painkiller notes. We have tonight someone that, for me, that's quite important, and I've got to be on my best behaviour. We've got a wonderful guest called Natalie Osborne. Now, Natalie is a presenter on various radio stuffs. She's also I'm reading her LinkedIn now. She's also, and I've got to find out about this.
You should know
is
this.
An examinations officer. So I don't know what that is. But the main thing that the reason why I've got to be careful is because Natalie is also on the board of the charity FAB that I am the co-CEO of. So basically, I've invited my boss to come on this show. Oh my God.
And here she is. So, best behaviour, Mick.
Yep.
Hello, everyone.
Boss. You got your hats out again.
I put this on especially for you.
Oh, you've got it.
Does it bring back memories?
Yes, it does. See, Natalie and I have worked together quite a lot on the FAB Awards ceremonies. Although she's been quite lucky because I've not been around for some of them. I've done it virtually, so she's been able to go.
It's been bliss.
Turn him down, turn him off. Yeah, because Zec knows what it's like. In fact, you two could just share notes about what a nightmare it is working with me. But yeah. So was every now and again she gets a load of hats out, and the Christmas one this year was just the funniest thing I've ever seen. The only reason why I'm really scared is because if we do it live together, which we will do now, I'm betterer. I think she's going to say, "Can I put a hat on?" And we all know hats with this hair. No,
you're just vain. That's all.
Don't mess his hair up.
No,
don't
people
do it.
People have lost limbs. A bloke once, when I was in the 80s, a bloke came up to me once and went, "All right, Mick," and touched my hair. And I was so upset with him that I called upon my best sort of ability to insult and cut someone to the quick. And within 3 sentences, he was crying. So I'm protected by the god of hair care. Anyway, that's enough about my hair. Let's talk about the wonderful Natalie Osborne. So Natalie, you tell us a bit about yourself. This is my go-to question I ask everyone is, tell us a bit about yourself, because then that way my research sounds like it was a lot better than it was.
Well, your research of looking on my LinkedIn profile. Yeah.
That's it. LinkedIn and your Radio Jackie profile and your Radio Susie Radio profile.
Susie Radio, yeah.
And
These
your,
sound very
I've got a lot of comments about that week.
Yeah. And your ex profile. Although no, I don't see many posts about coming on here today, so that's a very wise idea. We post the hell out of it. Nothing's gone. Yeah, no, maybe not. I don't want to mention.
Yeah, don't be associated with those.
Yeah.
But come on, Natalie. Introduce yourself to the wonderful viewer.
Well, hello, wonderful viewer. I'm Natalie, as Mick said. What can I say? I was diagnosed with juvenile idiopathic arthritis, polyarticular, just to throw that bit in as well, at the age of 2. So I don't actually remember the transition from not having this condition to having this condition, which obviously for me is a blessing in disguise, because it's meant that I've grown up with this arthritis, so therefore I've learned to live with it. The downside of that is because I got it at such a young age, and it actually hit every joint. Normally with juvenile arthritis, it only ever hits 1 or 2 joints. With me, I won the lottery, and it hit every single joint going within the body, all straight overnight. So I hear from my parents one day running along the beach quite happy, then overnight stiff as a board, couldn't move.
Yep.
but that's great because it's meant that I've grown up with a lot of love and support from my family. They sort of exercise daily to get me moving, and that's basically allowed me to lead a relatively active life as much as it can be now. And as Mick also alluded to, I work as an examinations officer in a secondary school and sixth form.
So does that mean you do that thing where when they're doing exams, you kind of just sort of look over,
make them feel uneasy by wandering around?
I employ those people.
So you just sort of sit at the front, and
no, I coordinate. I'm logistics.
Ooh.
I'm logistics. Yeah.
I was only interested because I know that one of my friends trained to be a teacher. Ben, if you're watching, Ben Parry, I'm going to say something now to get you in trouble. You're probably a headmaster by now. But anyway, when he first started it, when he was like a trainee teacher, and they did exams, he used to walk up and down the exams and purposely fart near the kids he didn't like. So that's the kind of school I went to, and that's the kind of teacher that came from the school that I went to. Carry on, Natalie. Sorry,
Natalie. You're quite interested in what you said there. You said that luckily you've not had that transition from disability, and you think that's easier. Now, Mick is also a long lifer. I am coming to it late in life now that I'm 105 years old. I suppose I've been using a wheelchair about 12 years and had disability for about 20. And you said you're lucky. It's often that balance. Are you lucky to not have known what you've missed out on because you haven't had it? Or is it better to have done it and then lose it and suffer that almost trauma of going through that phase of, I've lost it all? I think that's quite interesting of,
well,
not that saying either is better, but
No. I mean, obviously, I'd
rather sort it out. Right.
Yeah, I'd rather not have the arthritis. Yeah. I would rather have grown up with the ability to completely have a normal education. But I spent, when you look back, I was having physiotherapy every week, hydrotherapy every week. So because of the timings of that, it meant I was out of school, operations galore, having injections right, left and center, trying new drugs. I've been on every single drug going for arthritis because I got it at such a young age. They wanted to see the benefits. So trying to have an education and a normal life with all of that going on wasn't fun. I had my first major operation when I was 7. So again, that took out a number of months of schooling life. Again, not being able to participate fully in PE lessons, various other lessons. I got involved, don't get me wrong, I got involved. And bless them, my primary school actually made me rounders captain as well, because I could actually judge to whack the ball. I was very good at judging that, but then I couldn't run, so I had to have a runner, So they found ways. So they found ways to incorporate me.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good to hear.
So is this? What's scary is that because Natalie's a lot younger than me, and obviously
everyone
is a lot younger.
They're not younger, and they did that in my school. And I was really lucky that I went to school the year that it became legal to go to school as a disabled kid and then not just be sent to a special school come what may. So I went to a mainstream school all of my education, but I had all of that stuff where kind of someone would run for you, and because I could walk until I was 15, and then obviously it all went a bit pear-shaped when my spine went. So I've had the growing up disabled, and then I've had the trauma of it happening and getting a lot worse overnight. So I'm in the middle. I kind of go, I know what it's like to be born this way, and I know what it's like to go, ugh, I'm new, and learn how to do it again. So, but it's I think you're right. I think I've always thought there's something you get something extra from like having to be a bit different and find out ways of doing things that aren't like your mates.
You learn to adapt, and you learn to overcome problems, which are brilliant life skills. It's just that from my point of view, and obviously many other people and yourself, you have to learn to adapt from an early age, so it then becomes your normal way of life. And therefore you tend to see solutions to problems, or even not even to problems. You see solutions on how to make lives easier, how to make living a life easier. So from that point of view, you know, I'm grateful that I did get it so young, because I've got those life skills. But the negative is, because I got it so long, I was growing up with all my joints being deformed, and therefore I've had 4 hip replacements, both knees replaced, an ankle replacement. I've had, you know, Achilles tendon surgeries, soft tissue releases.
Because your bones are still in that growing phase, they then distort, I take it, because of the arthritis.
Yeah,
whereas a
so,
bone that's
you know,
already grown is
this is not your standard, you know, wrists and fingers. But because I was growing up with the arthritis affecting every joint, you know, I'm now having to sort of live with this. And obviously, as you do get older, things do worsen.
It looks very much like rheumatoid arthritis in the fingers.
It is. I mean, juvenile and rheumatoid, very, very similar. I think there's about 1% difference between the two. And now, when talking to my consultants, I've got juvenile idiopathic plus some rheumatoid plus some osteoarthritis as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're sort of tagging along a few more bits.
Trust me, as you get older, Natalie, this will happen more and more and more until you go to see the doctor and they call up a list of your impairments and illnesses and God knows what, and it's 2.5 pages of double-lined A4, and you're like, I am not that much of a crap heap, am I? And they went, well, these are all the things we're treating you for. And I was like, my God.
You get to the stage where they say, what have you got? And you say, look, I'm going to tell you what I haven't got.
The funny one is when they say... You can always
spot your folders, can't you, when you go to hospital? You which was yours.
But like for us, Natalie and I, we've had that from the beginning. Right?
I mean, I'm on 3 folders, and that's later.
When you're a disabled kid, they lose it all. So as you hit puberty, you go in and they go, you used to cart around with I used to have 3 or 4 folders like this, right? Because my case was so rare. And then all of a sudden I hit 15, my back went, I went in hospital and they went, oh, what happened to you? And I'm like, what do you mean what happened to me? Where are my notes? Oh, we can't find them. And you're like, my condition is 1 in 100 all over the world. So, and I'm the 4th oldest person to ever have this kind of cancer and survive. So the idea that you don't have my notes is like, that's a really bad thing, because my notes are really important. I shouldn't have to know more about my cancer and surgery than you do, but we do.
They're all set in dusty basements now. It's all been digitized.
Well, they lost 16 years worth of x-rays and hospital notes when they were transporting them to a new surgeon. 16 years of my medical history disappeared.
Somewhere out there, there's someone with a load of really cool x-rays going, wow.
No, there's someone out there going, I'm sure these aren't my notes. I think you got this wrong.
Some other Natalie Osborne going, but I've only got a hangnail. No,
I broke my big toe.
For you. No.
I came into A&E because I broke my toe, and you're saying I've got what?
Look, I'm unique, so, you know.
Oh, there you go.
When you said you got 4 hip replacements, I thought, well, I don't remember you having 4 legs.
I'm you know, not half a spider or anything. No. My right has been replaced 3 times and a bone graft, and my left has been replaced once.
I was talking to Matt Fraser the other day, and he was saying that he's just had hip replacements because, of course, he's got thalidomide, so his legs do a lot of work. And also, he used to be a kickboxer. God, I don't understand these disabled people that take up sport. When they said to me, I'd never walk again, I went, that's it, great, no more PE. And I didn't ever do another. Although I have started going to the gym because I have to for my physio. And now I'm there lifting weights and looking at myself in the mirror like something playing gig.
It's very annoying because my wife says, we're in bed, and she goes, you go make the tea. And I go, I'm having a rough day. She goes, well, you've seen this bloke climbing a wall, dragging his wheelchair with him.
Oh, yeah. Inspo porn. We don't like inspo. We like porn, but we don't like inspo porn. Anyway, we don't talk about that because I remember I'm the CEO of a charity that she's the board of.
Yeah, behave yourself.
We saw a video the other day. I said to my wife, oh, you know, I haven't been in the sea for years. She said, yeah. I said, look at this. And there's this girl and her boyfriend's in a wheelchair, and she backs up to him, pushes him down, drags him onto her back, and walks into the water with him. Now, since as I'm 20 stone and Donna's 4'10", she looked at me like, what?
What she could do.
That's not going to happen.
What she could do is grab you by your ankles.
Just drag me.
Drag you. And I'll tell you this, I know this from
just
my own
get her on the
experience.
sand in my shorts.
One night, after a particularly heavy night, we were in the living room and Diane went, come on, we're going to bed. And I was like, oh, I can't. And she said, right. She picked me up on my ankles and dragged me into the bedroom. It was strangely erotic. But, so
that's where her paintings come from.
That's it. No. She keeps saying she's going to paint one of me, but she no, because she knows how vain I am. I'll be like, I don't know that shit, do I? I painted what I saw, and that's it.
Natalie,
yes, Natalie, get back to Natalie.
Your radio. How did you get into radio? Because I believe she let slip that it was pirate radio. No one said
okay. It wasn't pirate by the time I got involved in it.
Right.
So, yeah, all of that fun had been and gone. All that fun had been and gone. But actually, it goes back to Epsom and Ewell Fab Club, which sort of brings full circle to the fact that I'm now Mick's boss, so to speak. One of them anyway. But with the disability and the needing to find some inclusivity and being around other people with, disabilities, mixed abilities, thankfully we knew somebody, or my parents knew somebody who went to Epsom and Ewell Fab Club, and so I was then taken along one day to see if I would enjoy it. Naturally loved it, got thoroughly involved, went on to be a helper as well when I could. And then obviously we'll be back to the trustee side of things. But it was while I was a member of Epsom and Ewell Fab Club that we got involved with the Duke of Edinburgh Award, which for me, I was thinking, how on earth, you see all your friends at school doing it, you think, how on earth is anyone going to get me involved in the expeditions, trekking 3 miles for your bronze, 5 miles onwards? But sure enough, you have an organisation that's actually willing to look beyond the borders and say, yeah, you want to do it, we'll make it work. Well, that's what Fab did. And basically it was through me getting involved in the Duke of Edinburgh that I needed to get involved in the skill sets and everything else. And I actually volunteered at Epsom Hospital Radio. And I said I only wanted to go along to fundraise, do my service part of the award. And they said, no, we'll train you. And sure enough, they trained me to be a presenter. I was co-presenting with somebody for a few months, and then given my own show.
I would love to do some radio. I think I've got a face for radio. I think I'm
wonderful.
Perfect. Yeah.
But no, well, certainly if you're interested, I can help you out with some of the stations I'm on that are internet based. So
that's radio. What is it? Radio Jackie 107.8.
107.8. Yeah. So that's the one. Yeah. So that's the one that I eventually got involved in, and they've got their studios based in Tolworth, and yeah, so I go there, every week and present from the studio.
So come on, as DJing, what is your all-time favourite song that you would put on? If you had to put one on, your favourite, you've got to put one on now. What are you putting on?
Oh, goodness. It probably actually Eagles and Hotel California. Without talking over the intro, because I have a go at everyone that talks over the intro.
Oh, that was annoying when we were younger, wasn't it, Mick? Trying to take the top 40 and they would talk over it. God, I'm trying to take this.
I actually went out with a girl years ago who, funnily enough, the band that she's in were on the telly recently because someone rediscovered their single, Witches, Zanana, Penny Griffiths, that I went out with. And they used to do a cover of Hotel California, but depending on how drunk they were, they would sing Hotel Farting For You and see if anyone noticed. So, yes. But, I had many happy hours boogieing to that one. So you do what show do you do? I'm trying to find that it's Radio Jack is quite hard to find when anyone's on.
Yeah, my regular show is a Friday evening 9 till midnight. So I get
Ooh, the
people,
late
you know,
night
oh
show.
yeah, it's a party night, and then get you ready for the weekend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Although recently I've been covering some 7 till 9s on different days of the week, but no, should be back to that time slot this coming week.
Excellent. Well, there you go. Now you know, folks. Radio Jackie 107.8, and of course online you can find
Indeed.
it. So just go Radio Jackie, and you can catch Natalie doing her DJ presenter thing.
I'm
Yeah,
not
so
sure
get
who
in
this,
touch with me. Yeah.
who's
Yeah.
Facebook user. That's what it says. Facebook user actually reminds me. I want to contact Radio Jackie about plugging my podcast.
Yeah, they're doing good idea. And
that's
of course,
not Avril, is it? It's no,
that's
Avril,
someone else. No.
Kara's, is it? Is that Kara? It's not
Kiara. Yeah, Kiara. What am I about? Kira. Let's
Kira.
get
A pink sparkle.
Oh, if it is Kira, hello, Kira. Yes,
could be.
I've been on the pink sparkle.
There
It
you
was
go.
a fantastically sparkly pink thing. But yeah, no, that you'd be great on that, Katie, and I think Natalie would be very good. In fact, we'd all be very good on it. But obviously, I was very well behaved on that. This is mine. I don't have to be. I do, because I've got my boss here. Oh, it's too much. My brain doesn't compute. Pink gin. I need a pink gin. Is there any pink gin?
No drinking
for a
on the
bit of
job.
acting.
Know that.
Diane's not even there, is she?
No, she's not. I'm in a room, but I know that she's outside somewhere, so I could shout.
Somewhere.
It's one of the things
The
about being
husband
disabled.
powers. Pink gin.
One of the things about being disabled, as soon as you raise your voice, then your, significant other comes running, going, "Are you all right? Are you all right?"
Really?
Yeah, mine.
I haven't got that one yet. Then
I'm sure she's blocked you out, Mick. I'm sure she's blocked you out.
Yeah, no. Well, because I don't know about anybody else, but during our break, I've been collecting impairments that I didn't know I had, and I think finally, I think my wife is finally going to admit that she is partially deaf, because we've had this discussion for ages.
Donna.
She lip reads. And she doesn't notice it, but I'm working with the wonderful Libby Welsh. Hello, Libby, who's one of our fab access consultancy and training services staff, who's brilliant, and she's deaf. And she has got cochlear implants and lip reads. And everyone that ever meets Diane goes, "You're lip reading. Are you deaf?" And she's like, "No." "Well, I can't hear in this ear, and I got tinnitus in that one." And it's like, yeah, so that makes you hear.
I've been trying to get Donna to go for a hearing test. She keeps saying, You're deaf. You've got hearing impairment. You haven't. She's like, "No, you mumble." And I'm like, "No, I haven't. I've got a big gob." And then we did one like you plug it in the laptop, right? Okay, this was my school's. You plug in, and it said you need to see someone about your hearing.
Well, I am. Yeah, no. Apparently, Diana's got tinnitus in two keys. One's high, wee, and one's, and apparently it's the same tone as my voice. So I can talk to her and she just doesn't notice. And what I have to do is go, "Di, would you like a cup of tea?" in a kind of high voice. And she goes, "Oh, yes, please." But if I go, "Di, do you want a cup of tea?" Nothing.
I've got tinnitus. I take it that's what it is. If it's deadly silent, I can hear like almost as if there's music playing in the distance. And I get it. My favourite track is a thunderstorm, and it's just rain with thunder. And I keep thinking, there's music playing in the background of this. I'm sure there is. So I try a different one. I'm like, no. And so I've got this. I don't know if it's from the clubbing days where.
Yeah, no, I mine sounds like birdsong, which is quite handy.
Oh, nice.
I used to listen to birdsong. So now when I go to sleep, I just completely tone everything out. And then it's like.
See, I'd love a bit of rain and thunder as tinnitus.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if they do rain and thunder, but they definitely do birdsong.
I started off leaning out the window going, "Shut up!" Closed the window, realised it was actually.
We have a very noisy neighbour who plays very loud music at all weird times. And Diane, because of her bassy one, keeps going, "Is he playing music again?" And I go, "No, it's your ears." She, "Oh, right then." Otherwise, she'd be down there. "Turn it down. I'm putting music on." But anyway, so the other thing I know that you've done, Natalie, getting back on track.
Oh, yes.
Is you've been sailing on tall ships.
Yes.
Now I've been on one of the ships from the Jubilee Sailing Trust that doesn't exist anymore, does it? It went bankrupt.
Lord Nelson.
Yeah, but I've been on one of them, and it looked like quite a lot of effort. So what was that like?
Well, again, Mick, you get out of it what you put in.
Yeah.
And a big shout out to the Jubilee Sailing Trust charity. And again, it's there. All stemmed again from Fab and my Duke of Edinburgh award, because I was going for my gold and I needed to do this residential. And the Jubilee Sailing Trust fulfilled the residential requirement. So there I was, having never sailed before. Nobody really in my family sailed. And I thought, you know what, let's do a 2-week voyage from Southampton through the Bay of Biscay to Lisbon.
Oh God! Sorry, this is called the Jubilee Truck.
Are they still going though? Because they found their way out.
This is a heartbreaking thing.
No.
You first got involved in. I first got involved in,
costing them thousands.
I first got involved with them in 2003.
Right.
Absolutely loved it. I was made a watch leader within a couple of voyages, which meant.
You was a prefect, wasn't you, at school? I know it.
Well, actually, no, because the rest of the class never voted for me. I wasn't one of the cool kids, so I'd put myself up, but never got voted. So not really. But no, so I then got to work with a quarter of the voyage crew. You know, I would oversee a watch. And what was good with that is you were really key in integrating everyone on board ship. So whether they had a physical disability or not, whether they were a wheelchair user or not, we all learnt to sail a tall ship on equal terms. And I've been able to climb up the mast. I don't have the strength to do it unassisted. But yeah, I've been up the mast, I've been out on the yards, and the Jubilee Sailing Trust made it possible. And I've sailed on both Tenacious and Lord Nelson. And in fact, this year, I'm actually celebrating 10 years of being a Cape Horner. I sailed around Cape Horn.
I mean, the Bay of Biscay is dodgy, isn't it? The Bay of Biscay is quite a nasty area of sea. See, I used to go sailing.
It can be.
And I miss sailing. My dream is to have sail solo round into the Mediterranean. I'd love to have a nice 30-foot yacht that's all rigged for me now, and just to go bye and just go. But
the only thing I've been sailing on was the Norfolk Broads, and that was enough for me. Thanks, it was quite good. Although I did learn, my instructor taught me that apparently the way you sail a boat and the way you wheel a wheelchair are very similar in that they seem counterintuitive. You don't steer it the way you're steering it, you steer it in the opposite direction and it turns. So rather than you push right to turn left and you push left to go right. So, and that was good. But other than that, you know, I mean, again, you see, anything that needs to wear a helmet, I don't like. So it's like, get out the ring.
Yep.
The Bay of Biscay,
yes.
it's not very good at the best of times. Cape Horn is treacherous. How do you cope as a wheelchair users on board a ship on either of those seas? I mean,
well,
like nailed down
with grit, determination, but with a good crew. So we knew to how to maneuver safely on board. So if a wheelchair user needed to move from one point to another, and we were in rougher conditions, then as a team we would get involved so that the wheelchair was safe. And we would find ways. And again,
that makes it dangerous for everyone involved, because you don't want things that aren't absolutely tied down on the deck of it. I mean, Cape Horn, that is serious sea.
She means, Zec, is they bungee corded everyone to a wall. And
what
then when they got around, they went, there you go, you've done it.
What they mean is if they're on the port side and they want to get the other side, they just tack. Shift across.
No, but there's a lot more control than that. If you just let people in wheelchairs say, right, there you go, you want to get port side, then just turn off your brakes and whiz across. Then that would be quite dangerous. But don't forget, it wasn't just wheelchair users. We would have different people unsteady on their feet. I mean, take me for example. My balance is shot. But you find ways that there's grips, there's people, you team up. You would tie on additional ropes so that actually you could maneuver carefully. And it was done, very, very well. But yes, as you alluded to, Mick, sadly, financial pressures, like everything. My preferred tool ship, Lord Nelson, that I sailed around Cape Horn, that sadly was decommissioned about 2018 or so. Still devastated, still well up when I think about it, because she's basically in a scrapyard just rotting now because nobody would buy her. The other tool ship, which I think you've been on, Mick, Tenacious, she's still, looking pretty, but again, nobody's buying her. And if nobody's willing to buy this fully accessible tool ship, it's the last remaining tool ship in the world that is accessible.
So is
for
this going to
people
be
with and
something
without
you raise with the
disability?
board? Is this going to be something you raise with the board at the next board meeting? No.
Sadly, I don't think we'd be able to afford to buy it and then run it.
Not at a discount. Can't we get it? Kind of. We'll give you £5 for it, and then
it needs a fair bit per month. So if you know anyone with really deep pockets, then we need to save this ship.
I have, but they're empty.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Any viewers that are in any way, shape, or form minted, please contact us, and then we'll buy it for Fab, and it will become the good ship Fabulous. And we'll all go, and Natalie can show us how to do it while I'm sitting there going, not my hair, and throwing up over the side, because I sail like I walk very badly.
But no, truthfully, we've had military personnel on board recovering from injuries and PTSD and all sorts. So, it's not having this around anymore is going to affect an awful lot more people.
Being off the coast in a ship with just the smell and just the feel.
But that's been a passion of mine, as I said, since 2003, and now sadly, it's no more. But it would just be heartbreaking.
How old were you when you did this, Natalie? You were about 4 or something.
Well, that's very kind of you, Mick. I'll consider you for a pay rise after saying that.
Yeah, I forgot. You're the one that says yes to the pay rises. You're the one that knows we can't.
You should have heard what you said about you before you came on.
Lovely and a fun person to work with. And please don't say.
Thankfully, though, I'm part of a board of trustees, so my say is just one of a few voices.
But
what a shame that has gone. That that they're just rotting. Look, the chances, like you say, people with mental health, like the soldiers and everything. It's just what an asset that must have been.
Oh, it's huge asset. But it's just finding somebody willing to take it on. I mean,
I am actually going sailing this summer, but nothing quite as exotic as that. It's on the Hanningfield Reservoir with Sailability, I think they're called.
Okay, yeah.
And so it's just a small dinghy kind of set up for disabled people like Rick.
That's great. That's great. I love that.
And I think that will do me it's like better than nothing, really, isn't it? But I really want to get out on the rough seas.
Well, if we ever are able to save Tenacious, and I know there was an article on BBC Hampshire about it recently, and there are various Save Tenacious campaigns going on. If somebody does save Tenacious and keeps it going, then both you and Mick come along, get involved, and you'll see.
Right.
Exactly.
You can go. You two can go and do your
best.
No,
you as well. You as well.
I'm going to wave from the side of the dock. Farewell. See you soon.
That would be amazing. Me and Mick live from the Bay of Biscay.
It wouldn't be though, would it? It'd be you live
Why
and
not?
me going.
Yeah.
A lot of people go blur till they get the sea legs.
Exactly.
I don't have land legs, so I know my weaknesses. I know, I don't do. I don't know. Yeah, well, who knows? We'll see. Let's just say.
We're just going to have to stick with skydiving, Mick. Sorry.
No, I'm never doing
that.
I'm never doing
count
that.
me on that.
Never doing that.
I'd love to do it, but obviously, as I hit the ground, it's really going to hurt my legs.
I was going to say, all I know is as someone who's had 3 spinal cord injuries now, that's it. I've had enough now. I don't want any more. I'm probably going to give up driving, to be honest, let alone jumping out of planes.
You may give up driving when you get that fine through.
I know. I got caught speeding on the way home from a job that I was doing for Fab, where there was no toilet. And trust me, it took me an hour and 45 minutes to get there, an hour to do the audit. And by the time about an hour and 10 minutes in, I was only a little way from home. But by that time, I was like, I can't think. And I may have gone 6 whole miles an hour over the speed limit. I went out to the garrison. Used to be in the good old days. On the M40, that used to be a motorway. You know, when I was young, you did 70 miles an hour on that road, no trouble. I went out the other day down the seafront along to the garrison. I got all the way there, and then I thought, I need a wee. And I knew that the toilets were right the way back at the other bit. And so I cut round the other way, and the pavements were so bad, I was convinced with every bump it was going to be the finish of it. And then, of course, you've got to try and get in a disabled toilet with the attachment on. It's funny, actually, I went out on it the other day, our Scooty Puffs that we've got, little things, and I went to an event at Camden Council, and then afterwards, I drove there on it, and then I realised that I'd have to put it on and off about 5 times because I needed to go from different rooms, and it was like, oh, God. But I didn't take it in the toilet because I can't lift my legs over it. But there we go. That's a design flaw. See, I've got mountain bike wheels, but I can't use them when I go off on Saturday to where I go. So I've been using my wheelchair wheels, and I've got solid tyres. and it's a bit like, by the time I get home, I'm like taking them off. People don't appreciate, do they, the pain that can be from a hard ride on a wheelchair, whether it's a scooter or whatever. Your bum gets it, and you're like, oh dear. You realise what the pavements are like, don't you? The language, people just see me going past, going, oh, fuck. Well, I said, I was at this council meeting, and I said to them, well, we haven't met before, but you may have heard of me. I'm the bloke that wheels around Camden swearing at everybody. Because worse than a pavement is an uneven pavement surrounded by tourists. I want to go up to London. I want to take mine to London. And they stop and they look, and you're behind them, and then they end up on your lap. Oh, yeah, I went along the seafront the other week, thought it's nice, I'm going home along the seafront. What a mistake, people. So you should take it to Barcelona, but in Barcelona, because my Batek's made in Barcelona, right? So everyone in Barcelona's got one. Right? So there's just armies of wheelchair users racing up the seafront on the full speed set. I think mine's Italian. Ride's Italian. So, yeah. So and it's just really funny because although I'm not taking mine when I go, because I want to slowly look around. I don't get many miles out of mine. 1, because I'm fat, and 2, because I'm always going as fast as it'll go. If you go on the medium speed, you're all right. The fast speed sucks up battery like a baby, but it does mean you can go down the road almost as fast as a bicycle. I can do about 10 miles on full, but mine's been restricted on the settings, so I think I do about 18 miles an hour top. I got a golfing umbrella when I was in Bournemouth one time. Big wind conditions, golfing umbrella, opened it up, whizzing along the promenade in my wheelchair with people either side of me to make sure I didn't veer off and end up on the beach. Great fun. Again, wind. I once held on to the back of a car after a sixth form party where there was lots of drunk. And that you think the pavements are bad. When this is in an old ministry chair as well, the old Everest and Jennings folding piece of pig iron. And I don't think the people in the car realised that they didn't need to go at the speed that you go on a road, because it just got faster and faster. And in the end, I let go just as we came to a crossroads at traffic lights. So the people waiting, this little wheelchair shoots across with this sad new romantic in it with all big black hair. Boom! And I was like, wow, that's probably, that needed to be in a comedy like, some mothers do have them or something. So Avril said you want wheels like Disabled Adventurer Nick Wilson. I haven't. Well, I'm now going to go to because I'm doing all my research while I'm here. Hang on, let's spell Wilson. Where is it? Oh, hang on. Wilson, here we go. Wilson. Let's have a look. Nick Wilson. I've got the mountain bike style ones, but they've got the big knobbly tyres, and I don't think I need them. One of the big problems with the world now is if you type in someone's name, hang on, is that him? No, that's not him. They sort of. There's so many people with the same names, and that's why Mick Scarlett is dead handy, because there's only one other guy who's nicked my name.
Zechariah Richardson. Now I'm sorted.
Yeah,
I don't have troubles getting an email.
Oh, I see. No, so there was a Nick Wilson on Survivor, the program, not Nick Wilson, a Survivor. So let me have a look. Let's look for wheelchair. There we go. Disabled adventurer and public speaker. There we go. Let's have a look at this. We're going to do a study of. Well, he seems to be in a power chair. You just need a jet. Okay, yeah, lived experience library. Sorry, folks. Get on with yourself. I
watched the UK Survivor. There was a guy on there. What did he call himself? Peg leg, and he even had a peg on a necklace around his neck because he was an amputee. And I just kept thinking the whole time, I bet the sand getting inside that, because they're on a beach the whole time, must have. They didn't show you, but I bet it's so sore coming into that with the salt water and the sand.
What was the show? Oh, Beyond Boundaries. Where Beyond Boundaries, they did 2 series, and then they said, let's do a celebrity one. Right. And they asked me if I'd be on it, and it was going to be me and Tanny and loads of.
That's where Sophie started.
Yeah, right. So Sophie started before that, but yeah. Anyway, so that was one of our first things. But so they did it all. They got us all booked. It was all lovely. We weren't going to do anything too tremendous because they were a little worried that we might all die like they did on the first Beyond Boundaries, but they all got rushed home because they were all dying of infections and legs dropping off. Can't kill the celebrities. And then they went, oh no, we can't get an insurance because no one's going to insure you because you're well known. So we didn't do it, which was really sad because I thought it would be quite fun to do something silly like that. I mean,
Sophie got taken out of it because she was unwell, wasn't she?
But they all got bladder infections, for God's sake. You can't bloody catheterize yourself in the middle of the jungle between their legs dropping off because they're amputees and bladder infections and then pressure sores. It wasn't Beyond Boundaries. It was kind of straight to A&E. I didn't see the point. Anyway, there we go. So what is coming up for you, Natalie? What you've got in the future? You're going to go back to your radio show. What else is going on? Are there any possible boats coming on? Don't forget, everyone, if you want to buy Natalie a boat, she's willing to be given a tenacious.
A big boat.
Yeah. If you can find me another tall ship, because I know how to sell them. But no, at the moment, no sailing planned until I find another organisation or we save Tenacious, one of the two. But no, it's basically radio and my day job, and going to theatre and concerts when I'm able to. When you can book tickets, because accessible tickets are so difficult to get hold of.
I saw this on Twitter. So it's not Twitter, it's X, isn't it? Someone saying the other day they were watching. There was wheelchair spaces, and then they were just gone.
None. Yeah.
Gone. Yeah.
Well,
there was one venue where I believe they only had 8 wheelchair spaces for the entire venue.
Oh, well,
at the Roundhouse, how is that even allowed?
In Camden, in the Roundhouse, they've got 4. So you've got 1 and a companion, and then so you've got 2 seats, and then 2 bits beside for the wheelchair, and there's 1 on one side and 1 on the other. So I bought main tickets to go yet again to see Gary Newman, and they were like, "Oh, but you'll be in the main auditorium." I don't care. I've had enough of sitting in a little bit at the back with no mates. So I'm just going to go and
see. I don't go to shows, but the wife being a counsellor, we got invited to Pento at Christmas, and this
you didn't.
Said, disabled access is around the other side. And as I went in, this woman said, "All right, you're going to sit over there. If you could face your wheelchair towards the stage, please." And I thought, what the bloody hell was I going to do if you hadn't told me? I mean, I know it's nice being helpful.
Welcome. Yeah. They're behind you.
No, they're not.
That's much better, Mick. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, could you face your wheelchair towards the stage was their advice. And I thought, well, that training was priceless.
Yes, it is a mindset. And it's getting worse. I've always said this. When I was first, young and many years ago, back in the 80s, when time was not black and white, but quite fade low. Anyway, I used to be able to go to gigs anywhere and just turn up. And loads of venues were kind of all right. I mean, I once went to the Astoria to watch Sigue Sigue Sputnik and got put on the speaker cabinet. So I was just there like a go-go dancer. Yeah, shoot it up. And but gradually, more and more and more, you have to give them so much stuff. Like, oh, can we have your PIP letter? And I'm like, you do know that that's got like quite personal information on. And can I not just send you the front page? Well, I don't know. And it's like you. So, but yeah, the number is ridiculous. And I think the thing is, years ago, there didn't used to be many of us because most people went, I can't be bothered. But now loads of people want to go out. There's many more of us saying, yeah, we want that. And so you're right. You go online and it goes, access tickets. For access tickets, ring this number or contact this email address. And then you find out what you were meant to do was buy a ticket and then they'd swap it for an access ticket, but it didn't tell you that. And then and it's like, oh, for God's sake. And they're all different and none of them are the same. And
well, poor Mick came down to Southend for a gig and we went out and we had dinner. He was like, oh, he's going to go to his gig. And he found out it was in a field that resembled the Peak District for holes and that.
It resembled the storm after a dry day. That's what it resembled.
Yeah. And had to leave because his pain levels went through the roof, so missed most of it.
Yeah. I went to see the Human League, didn't see the Human League.
I went to the theatre the other day and booked wheelchair tickets plus companion. But what they had, and they said, yes, we've got this all set out. What they hadn't actually taken into account is that a wheelchair is larger than a standard seat, plastic seat that they'd laid out within this theatre in a warehouse. So actually a wheelchair needed 2 seats, plus you needed 1 for the companion. So basically everyone ended up being moved behind, and where we ended up was almost behind the stage because they hadn't taken into account the width of a wheelchair.
I went to see Susie and the Banshees at the Royal Albert Hall, and the wheelchair seats were behind the backdrop. So the only time I saw the band was when they were about to go on stage. So I went straight back and said, I want my money back because that's bollocks. But the funniest one, I went to go and see the ballet in Luton Theatre, Luton Library Theatre. And it's a raked stage, like raked seating. And the wheelchair space is at the front. Now, in my chair, I'm just under 5 foot tall. So they wheeled me in and said, this is where you'll be sitting. And about 4 rows went, oh no, because all they were going to see was my back. Luckily, there was a bloke there that said, oh, my mum's not well, you can have my ticket. So I jumped out of my chair and spent the whole time with my feet up watching from a luxurious seat. But otherwise, everyone behind me would have gone, bleh. And it's like, think about it, folks. Think about it.
And people stepping over you as well. Do you get that all the time?
Yeah.
I was at the Row. I went to the theatre the other weekend, and we're put at the end of the row. So all the staff really pleasant, but other people, it's like either can you move back, or you got that. We got that a lot. But then some people just try to step over the wheelchair to get to their seats. It's like, come on, I am human. I do exist. So.
That would be a big mistake with me. People don't mess with me. I think I'm a bit big and ugly for people to mess with me. They're like, no, not gonna, no.
But I once went for a part in a TV show, and it was to play a murderous bank manager. So I thought I'm going to get all method, and I spent a week dressed as a bank manager with brown slick back hair and little glasses and a suit. And I was absolutely horrified at the way people reacted to me. I remember wheeling down Shepherd's Bush Road. Is it Shepherd's Bush Road? Yeah. And someone walked out of a shop and walked on, because it was sort of quite high up. And rather than sort of wait for me to go, he just walked over me, just stepped on my groin. And what the? It was really weird. So a little tip, if you want people not to step over you, either be a giant bloke with a big beard or have very silly hair. And that's my...
I mean, I have the benefit of even when I'm happy, I look grumpy. So I do have that.
I think that might work, Natalie. I think you might find if you go to the theatre with that on, I think they'll probably go, let's just not get in her way because she's a poor little thing.
Yeah, exactly. Sympathy vote.
That's it. Yeah.
or like Mick said, go with the full up studded leather with all the spikes on you.
Doesn't work so much now. Doesn't work so much now. When I was young and I was all covered in studs, great. Now I go out, I've discovered the hair and I'm going through a sort of, second midlife crisis. So, and I wear all my levers out and people still kind of push you out of the way and act like you're not there. So I think it's just that people are used to us now. So now they just don't care. Get out of the way. I've got to get somewhere. And the main problem is all the people doing this.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And they're going down the path like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm trying to do 16 miles an hour down the path, and they're not looking where they're going behind them. Really,
it's always been beyond me. Obviously, as someone that's never been very good as a biped, I don't understand how they don't just. I mean, it's one foot in front of the other.
Yep.
It can't be that hard. It can't
like
be
this down the path.
And then they come towards you, don't they? And they go like, and they look at you, and you're like, yes, I can't sidestep. Wheelchairs have no sidestep function.
No.
I can avoid you, but I will run your feet over. You just need to step to the side and walk around me. So why are you looking at me?
I want a speaker, and I want Brian Blessed on a button. I press it, and it goes, bugger off! I do that.
See, I reckon with a bit of hair dye, you could make a good living as a Brian Blessed impersonator.
Brian bloody Blessed. One of my favourite people. Love the man.
Ah, dear. Well, I suppose we've already overrun by 10 minutes because that's the kind of show. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, we can finish whenever you like.
I didn't know there was a plan.
Oh, well, I always thought we did a 45-minute show that always ended up being whenever we got bored. And ran out of stuff to say.
I'm glad you remembered.
Yes, I do remember vaguely. But so thank you so much for coming on, Natalie, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. And I hope I hope you don't want to suggest to the board that I should be sacked or in any other way.
I'll think about it.
Yeah.
No, he should go sailing for fab. Sailing for fab.
And putting my fab hat on. Don't forget, folks, if you want to find out about your local fab club or you want to start one, go to www.fab.org.uk and find out about stuff. Right? We've also opened the adventures, which are kind of like sort of residential places where you go and have fun, and there's all climbing and boating and things. Yes, I haven't been on one yet, but I know that I have to as part of my job, and I know they're going to make me go potholing, which is something I have absolutely no ambition to do.
I would not go potholing.
No. But I know. I can just see it now. Everyone will be going, go on, Mick, go down the hole.
I'll hold your hand, Mick.
No, I did my fire training down at Manston, Smoky Joe's with those small pipes with breathing apparatus on, and I never wish to repeat it.
There are things that when they tell you that's it, you are disabled, you think, great, I won't have to do that anymore. I didn't think I'd ever have to abseil, and I did. I abseiled down a big building, and I hated it. And, I know.
But no, I want to see him on a boat, Natalie. Fab should make Mick go on a boat and do a film.
The only thing I want to do on a boat is wear a kind of eye patch, right, with a parrot, right, and go, ha, my lad. And that's it.
Well, we can probably make that happen as well.
Why don't you just put me in a little bathtub on the water? That's as much as I'll probably be good at. Tow me behind.
No, that's a shame. We used to have the raft race at Southend, and people used to go out and things like that. Yes. That was great. And I did it on a snooker table we built.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, people are asking when we're back. When are we back? It's in a month's time, isn't it? We're going to do it every month now.
We're going to go every month. Just
to give ourselves, some time to find wonderful guests that we can talk over, as we have with Natalie. You wouldn't believe you wouldn't believe I used to be on television.
No.
I mentioned it. No. See, hadn't mentioned it all the while. Ready for later. Annoyingly, YouTube has just removed one of my videos, the documentary about for Channel 4 called Willing and Able about disability and sexuality, because apparently it's got loaded by Primal Scream on it, and apparently that's not good, which is ridiculous because we did pay Primal Scream for the use of the record because they made money out of it. It's on YouTube. I don't know. Anyway, so we'll be back in a month, which would be, hang on, I've got to try and find a calendar. Anyway, it'll be a month. We'll tell you. Watch out on all the social media.
We put it on Twitter or X, whatever it
all
is.
the channels and that thing. And
Tell me, how are you co-CEO?
Oh, well, that was the thing. But just going to say, I've been diagnosed as ADHD, right? And now I know why this brain works like this, okay? And the more I feel the pressure of being a CEO, the more I realize that my mouth and my filters just disconnect. So
Oh, I don't have filters. It's best just to get rid of them.
You need to have them. You need to have them. Otherwise, you get in trouble. But anyway,
that's my life. Trouble.
I was going to say, don't forget, I get in trouble with Natalie. Oh, hey, do a plane jump. What, over a plane? Or like,
she wants you to jump
on a plane. On a plane.
Me and Mick jumping out a plane.
Nope, I'm not being strapped to nobody with nothing.
Do you know you can go skydiving without a parachute? You can only do it once, but you can do it.
So you can go scuba diving without any oxygen. But it's great. Ah, dear. I have been scuba diving. That was scary. But that's it. Anyway, we will keep talking.
Watch this space. Me and
so that was an hour.
Going skydiving.
Yeah, no, we won't. And we won't be
getting none of that.
No, I will not be going skydiving. No, I will. Much easier things I'm much more up for. But that, no.
It's easy. You just
where's your sense of adventure?
My sense of adventure. To tell you where it is, I'm 60. Right? Next year, I'm 60. They told me I'll be dead by 5. So trust me, as I'm getting older, I'm quite keen on the idea of going, I'm 80. And when I do that, I'm not going to endanger it by jumping off, over, under, or anything off anything. Right? The whole point of being a wheelchair user is to be able to go, I can't do that. I'm in a wheelchair. Right? And that is my mantra.
What sort of a role model is that, Natalie, that you've got in this person working for you?
Can I point out that I was always called a bad role model because of all the naughtiness I got up to in my youth. And so therefore I'm trying to be a better role model by not doing some naughtiness.
This is what Mick looks like in panic mode.
Yeah, I'm making a note. Don't worry. Co-CEO question mark.
So Mick, skydiving. Yeah, that's it. Brilliant. I'll put it
bake
on Twitter.
sale. I could do a bake sale. Oh no, I can't. I'm really shit at baking.
Sale.
I do a nice curry. Curry risotto.
Lights are great.
I'm a big risotto.
We'll have a curry. Once you're on the ground, we'll have a naan bread and a curry waiting for you.
See, this is what we were talking about before we went on air, that the media just like doing things to you that you don't want them to do. And already here we are on a podcast with apparently 2 of my friends who are now saying, oh yeah, we'll get Mick up on a plane and then we'll kick him out in his wheelchair. Oh, sorry, mate, forgot the parachute. But
and then we'll get you going sailing as well. You know, another thing that you don't want to do.
What you're going to do, I know, is you're going to get me on one of those boats with the parachute on, and then it tows me up.
Parascending.
Right.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, there you go. 2 birds in one. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's got all of the things on that one. Yeah, great.
We do a fundraiser. So if you raise £1,000, you skydive. 2,000, you get a parachute. 3,000, they train you.
And 4,000, I don't have to get up. Right, I'll just donate 4,000 myself, and that's the end of it.
There we go. Done. See, isn't that a good way to fundraise?
It is. Yeah.
With that.
Stop doing it.
Before Mick has a full-on panic attack and needs a paper bag, we will end the show. So www.mickskydiving.com is where you can donate.
Is that available, is it? No.
We will see you next time. In a month's time, we will put it up on the show, on the socials.
On the thing.
Socials.
On the socials, darling.
Say goodbye, Mick.
I will say goodbye. Thank you so much for coming on, Natalie. You were fantastic. Brilliant.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
Bye.